Hello everybody, welcome to the Geek Sandbag, coming to you from somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I hope you're keeping well. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the new Doctor Who Target books. So this time round we've got 7 new Target books, all with glorious covers by the artist Anthony Dry, which fits in with the previous releases. So Doctor Who and the Pirate Planet by Douglas Adams and James Goss, Resurrection of the Daleks and Revelation of the Daleks by Eric Saward, the TV movie by Gary Russell, Dalek by Robert Shearman, The Crimson Horror by Mark Gatiss, and finally The Witchfinders by Joy Wilkinson. So The Pirate Planet by Douglas Adams and James Goss, originally issued in hardback in 2017. Now if, like me, you already own the hardback, you may still want to consider buying the new Target version because they are actually different. So with the hardback edition, basically James Goss went back, got Douglas Adams' original notes and drafts and fleshed them out to make this novel, and it's a really great book, a really fun read. With the new Target book version, he started from scratch basically, and this is an adaptation of what was broadcast, so it's an adaptation of the TV story. So same story, same author, but a different version, and I love the fact that James Goss has done this, giving us a fresh new take on what is actually a really fun story. Now I know how much you all love a synopsis, so I'll just turn the book around so you can have a look at it. We have all systems go for the dawn of a new golden age of prosperity, it says, so I won't read it all out, but for those of you that do want to read it, pause your picture now. So The Pirate Planet from the Key to Time season, not one of my favourite eras of Doctor Who, I have to be honest, but I do like The Pirate Planet as a story. It's probably my favourite from that season, and it does translate really well into book form. James Goss really gets Douglas Adams' humour, and he writes it well. Out of the two versions, which one did I prefer? I genuinely enjoyed reading both, to be honest, but it's great to have this new take on the story. So if you do already own the hardback, I would still recommend getting this Target edition, and if you don't own either, I would definitely recommend picking it up. Mr. Fibile! Next up is Resurrection of the Daleks by Eric Saward, originally issued in hardback in 2019 with this very striking cover, now given the Target makeover. The contents of the books is exactly the same, it's just a straight reissue, there's no additional material. In fact, even some of the text errors that were present from the original are still there, which is a shame because I had hoped they might have taken this time to correct them. On the back we get the synopsis. The universe is at war. Action takes courage, it says, and a nice picture of Fluffy 5. And of course, do pause now if you want to read it. So Resurrection of the Daleks, one of my favourite Dalek stories on TV because it's gritty and dark and the Daleks are great in it and Terry Malloy's amazing as Davros. So I was really excited when Eric announced he was going to be finally writing the novel of it. However, I'm sorry to say it's a bit of a disappointment. Eric seems to be trying to channel his inner Douglas Adams, adding a lot of misplaced humour in it, and there's also a lot of additional stuff added to the story which really wasn't necessary, like a robot chef at the heart of the TARDIS, and a strange coda at the end where Tegan jumps off Tower Bridge onto a moving barge. It's all a bit odd, and I just wish he'd stuck closer to what we actually saw on TV. But it's not all bad. I still think there's a good story at the heart of it, and it's still worth getting, if only for the lovely new cover. And so on to Revelation of the Daleks, also written by Eric Saward and issued in hardback in 2019. The contents of the books is exactly the same again, it's just a straight reprint. But of course this one does have the new Target style cover, and I really like this one with Davros and old Sixie on there, and those lovely white and gold Daleks. On the back it says, "Beware the hands that heal," and a lovely picture of Colin, and of course the synopsis about the story. Revelation was actually quite a good read. It's certainly more enjoyable than Resurrection was. It just flows so much better, which is strange because I actually enjoy Resurrection more as a TV story. But yeah, out of the two, this is definitely the better book. So the TV movie by Gary Russell. This was originally issued in 1996 alongside the script of the film, and both these books featured a small selection of photographs from the TV movie as well. Sexy McGann there. Now it joins the rest of the Target range with a few minor tweaks and improvements from Gary Russell. And although this Target edition doesn't feature any of those photographs, it has been given a lovely new cover featuring the Doctor and the Master and the TARDIS, and I really love that picture of the TARDIS for some reason. On the back the quote is, "Who am I? Who am I?" And of course a picture of McGann, and you know what to do if you want to read the rest. Now I've never liked the title The TV Movie. I think the working title was The Enemy Within or something like that. And Gary Russell did say he was given the option to change it on this reprint but decided not to. I actually think he made the right decision because it has become known as The TV Movie. The book itself is a really enjoyable read. It sticks very faithfully to what we saw on screen. And I know the TV movie divides fan opinion, but I've always really enjoyed it, and I think if you like the TV movie, you'll enjoy this book. And bringing us into the more modern era of Doctor Who, it's Dalek by Robert Shearman. featuring a glorious cover of the Dalek bursting out of its chains there and the Ninth Doctor looking terrified. Really nice artwork on this one. The entire Dalek race wiped out in 1 second. I watched it happen. I made it happen. You can hear Chris saying that, can't you? He was such a good Doctor. Anyway, there's the synopsis for those of you who want to read it. So, Dalek by Robert Shearman. Now, I literally finished reading this last night, and let me tell you, it's absolutely fantastic. Pun totally intended. Dalek, of course, started off as a Big Finish story called Jubilee before becoming an excellent episode on the TV. And there's lots of extra stuff in here, but it's good stuff. So Rob really delves into the characters, especially Van Statten, explaining things like how and why he managed to get his hands on the Dalek in the first place. He writes the Doctor and Rose really well. Their personalities really come through. It's dark, it's gritty, it really is a great read. I can't recommend it enough, and I really hope that Rob writes more for Doctor Who in the future. So, next up it's the Crimson Horror by Mark Gatiss, or is it Gatiss? I guess I'll never know. Anyway, featuring one of my favourite Doctors, Matt Smith. I love Matt as the Doctor. I've got to be honest, I'm not overly fond on the cover on this one. It's all a bit one tone, but bonus points for having Mr. Sweet on it. On the back it says, we must get to the bottom of this dark and queer business no matter what the cost. Oh, I say. Nice picture of Matt there, and there's a synopsis for you to glaze your eyes over. Now, I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but it was a decent episode on TV, and Mark Gatiss is a good writer, especially when it comes to Doctor Who. He really gets it. So I've no doubt it'll be a decent read, and it's nice to see some of Matt's era getting novelised. And finally in this wave of Target book releases, it's The Witchfinders by Joy Wilkinson, marking the 13th Doctor's debut in the Target range and featuring the current logo, which will appear on all future Target releases. Now, I don't mind the new logo, but I think it looks better on some releases than it does others, so I'm going to miss the old logo. Personally, I prefer it, and I think it stands out a lot more. On the cover, you got the 13th Doctor, of course, King James and the Morax Queen, which looks good. On the back it says, I am an expert on witchcraft, Doctor, but I wish to learn more before you die. I want answers. And a picture of 13. And of course the synopsis, and you know what to do by now if you want to read it. So The Witchfinders, one of the stronger stories in Series 11 in my opinion, and therefore a great choice to be the first 13th Doctor story released in the Target range. Now, I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but I did meet Joy Wilkinson at a book signing not that long ago, and she was really lovely to me, very passionate about her work, and I've no doubt that when I do get around to reading it, it'll be a cracking read. So, 7 new Target books for you to get your teeth into. The recommended retail price is $7.99 each, although I'm sure you can find them cheaper if you shop around. So, a good selection of stories, and it's great to see the Target range still going strong. Man, I love the Target books. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do check out the Geeks Handbag on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget, I also do a weekly Doctor Who podcast with Gary that goes out every Friday called The Big Blue Box Podcast, so do give that a listen. But until the next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye!